Welcome to the Devroy Show. Like, share, comment and subscribe.
So first of all, I want to thank you for joining. I'm going to go ahead and let you introduce yourself. Just say your name and where you're from, and pretty much I'm going to ask you questions that there's no right or wrong answers. It's basically your opinion, right? So
Gotcha.
everything here is based on your opinion, your personality, and we'll go from there. So you could basically introduce yourself and say where you're from.
Okay. Hi guys, my name is Alosha. I'm from Paterson, New Jersey, but now I live in South Florida.
All right, and Alosha, what do you do for a living?
I'm a data analyst for a customer service center, and I also go to school full time.
Oh, nice. That's awesome. And what do you do? You have kids?
Yes, I have a 2-year-old girl.
Nice. And what do you do on a daily? What do you do for fun? Like, what do you do for fun?
For fun, let me see. I don't have time.
You don't have fun.
I try to work out. I just started taking pole dancing classes a few weeks ago, so I try to do that twice a week. That's pretty much all I have time for right now. Every now and then, go to the mall, cook, and I guess watch TV, listen to music.
Oh, that's not bad. I guess see, that's the thing. Work take up so much of our time. It's like asking you what you do for fun. Is like, what do I do for fun?
Exactly.
You got to think.
There's the things
about
that
it.
I like to do, and then there's the things that I actually have time to do.
Right. All right. So let me ask you this. What's one of the biggest thing you think you accomplished so far in your life?
Ooh, it's hard to say, it's hard to not say my daughter.
Oh, okay. That's a good answer.
I guess if you put kids aside, because I feel like most parents are going to be like my kids.
Right. That's the easy answer for sure.
Exactly. But kids aside, I would say maybe going back to school. So I went to school previously. I have an associate's in general science, and then I went back and got my bachelor's in humanities. But I couldn't really do anything with that. So about just over a year ago, I went back to get my bachelor's in information technology. And so that's what I'm finishing up this semester.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And all right. So from that, I want to ask you, what would you say is like one of your biggest fears in life? Everything I ask you,
failure.
You're scared to
It's
fail?
like, yeah, I hate like the feeling of putting your time and effort and your hope into something and it not working out.
Mhm.
So, and I think for me, sometimes that prevents me from trying new things because I don't want to fail at it. So it's easier for me to do things that I already know I'll succeed in.
Right.
And even though school is hard, I've always been good at it. And so it's easy for me to go back because I know I'm going to finish. I know I'm going to do well. But it's with trying new things that I don't know how well I'll do. That's what's scary for me.
Wow. See, that's the thing. Like, I'm probably gonna, most of the questions that I ask you, you're probably gonna be like, have to think about it because obviously you're not even prepped. In knowing what I'm gonna ask you, so it's just random questions, and you gotta like what's But here we are. All right, next one. If I didn't know you and I asked one of your friends to tell me about you, how would they describe you?
Oh, depends on which friend you ask. All my friends are gonna be like,
what would they say about you?
they're gonna tell you I'm crazy. I don't know.
They're gonna say you crazy?
They're gonna say I'm crazy, but they're all gonna say I'm reliable. Like they know they can call me anytime, any day. It doesn't matter if they text me. Like it could be 3:00 in the morning. If they text me, I'm gonna text them back. Like, is everything okay?
You know what?
I would say that's the one thing. Like all of my friends know. They all call me, text me whenever, and I'm always gonna be there.
You know what? I definitely agree with that. And the reason why is because I text you basically like at the last minute and you were like,
Can you hear
yeah,
me? Oh, sorry. I just got it. Okay, I can hear you.
okay. No, I was saying I reliable. I think I would agree with what you're saying because I text you at the last minute and you basically you just showed up. So
Yeah.
you're definitely on point with that one for sure.
Thank you.
All right. So your friends would say you're reliable. What do you think? What's one of the best things you think about you? Like,
Um,
how would you say it? Would you? That's how you would describe yourself about you?
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think I'm reliable, but my best quality,
Yeah.
and I being a good mom. um, yeah, I would say that's pretty much it. Best quality.
Yeah.
Probably always open to try new things, even though I
Okay.
do have that fear of failing. Like, I'll still
Mm-hmm.
try. So my sister's boyfriend hit me up the beginning of 2022, and he's like, "Hey, you want to train for a half marathon?"
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, "Let's do it." And like normally if people ask me for something, if it's someone who I love and care about, if they ask me, "Oh, do you want to try this, or do you want to do this, or do you want to go here?" I would just be like, "Let's do it."
Okay.
Like all fear aside, I'll just try do things if I have someone there to try it with me or to like do it along with me. And I think that's probably one of my best qualities because I'll really like get up and try anything at least
Okay. So
once.
you're basically you're fearless then. You're
I'm still
yeah.
scared, but I'm gonna do it. I'll at least try. I'll put the fear aside, but it's still there.
Okay. All right. So here we go. Um. Are you a firm believer in second chances?
I'm gonna say yes, but I think there's
Yeah.
definitely like
Returns.
contingencies.
Okay.
So in most cases, I think people deserve second chances, but I
Mm-hmm.
also think there are isolated situations where depending on what you did to fail the first chance, you may not deserve a second chance.
Okay. So it depends on basically the situation that determines whether or not you believe the second chance is granted.
Yeah. Like, for example, relationships are
Mm-hmm.
hard, and everybody goes through different things. Nobody has a perfect relationship. And I think in most cases, probably forgive the person for what they did. Like, forgive your partner for what they did or give them a second chance in most cases.
Mm-hmm.
However, I would say when it comes to like domestic violence, that's where I draw the line. And it's
Right.
like, you can't come back from that. You can't be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, it will never happen again."
Right.
So
Right.
that's why I say like there's isolates where I'm like, no, one time is one time too many. But in most cases, like I believe in forgiveness. I believe in, trying again because a lot of us make mistakes. I make mistakes and I appreciate if someone gives me a second chance. But for certain things like that, it's like no, once is one time too many. Ooh,
Okay.
ow.
Let me ask you this. I'm curious to see what you're gonna say. What about yourself do you think you need to work on? There, you're looking like wait.
No, because I already know what it is.
Oh, you do. Okay,
Okay.
good. Yeah.
So from when I was young, my sisters have always told me like I struggle with finishing things. So
Oh,
like I'll start a lot of things and I really struggle to finish. I'll take on a lot of hobbies. One time I was like, I'm gonna crochet and I'm gonna learn how to knit and I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that and I'll get halfway because I get really bored very easily.
okay. I see. Yep. Uh
Yeah.
huh.
So even when I talked about with the half marathon, it was a 14-week program. I got 7 weeks through, and the longest run was a 15. It was a 15K, which is like
Okay.
just over 9 miles. At was very young, so I would take her running with me, and I had like a jogging stroller.
Right.
And that run, we were running for almost 2 hours straight.
Wow.
Once we got to like an hour and 40 minutes, she just started throwing a fit. Like she didn't want to be in the stroller anymore. It got dark. It was breezy. And that was so for me that I haven't really taken her back on a run since then. And that was almost 2 years ago. It was like a year and
Wow.
a half ago. Yeah. So it's like I really, when I get discouraged
Yeah.
about something that I'm doing, it's really hard for me to pick it up and do it again. And even though I've continued to run since then, and I've very short runs, I haven't finished the half marathon program because I
Yeah.
get so like discouraged when something like that happens. It affects me long term, and that's why I have trouble finishing certain things.
Are you doing anything to work on that? Like, do you do anything to work on not finishing stuff you start, or is it just something that it is what it is?
So I've been trying. So, okay, so with the pole dancing classes, instead of doing like the one intro class, I actually just bought a 20 class package
Oh
so that
wow.
I know for a fact I at least have to finish 20 classes. And I can't go more than twice a week. Some weeks I can only go once. So I know it's going to last me at least 10 weeks. And I'm hoping
Right.
by then it's like a regular thing for me that I'll buy the next package or buy the unlimited package and then just continue that habit. So that's mostly what I do. Like I'll try to pick things that I have to stick to for a certain amount of time until it becomes a habit for me that I can on my own.
Okay. Do you believe it's essential for couples to have similar life goals?
No, I wouldn't say similar life goals, but I would definitely say life goals. Only because, for example, you
Yeah.
might have a couple who one of them, like let's say you have a doctor and a lawyer, right? For
True.
like
Yeah.
ideal purposes. But the doctor then wants to go do like Doctors Without Borders and travel the world.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like, okay, if you guys have like children, how can we really support one of you traveling the world half the time? You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Um,
Right.
However, that doesn't mean that a doctor and a lawyer who both want to open up a local practice and a law firm, they might be able
Right.
to work that out just fine. So I think it's definitely something that a lot of couples discuss kind of in the beginning, which I think couples, when they choose to get married, it's like you're so in love and you want to spend the rest of your life with this person. But you do forget that your life is going to change so drastically every few years that you forget to say, hey, I want to see the world. Or, hey, I want
Right.
to raise my kids this way. Or, hey, I want to. And then you get 5, 10 years and back, like down the road into the relationship. And now you as an individual are trying to pursue your personal life goals. And it's kind of a curveball for your partner.
Ooh. Relationship. All right. Let's stay right on relationship. So in a
Mhm.
relationship, right? You prefer to lead or follow, or you think it's like we're like it's 50-50?
Okay, I'll say ideally,
Yeah.
I would like to have someone I could follow. It
Okay.
sounds a bit submissive,
I
which
know.
I think
I
is a little
know.
bit different for me. But what I've realized is I don't
Yeah.
like it. I think it's to have equal respect for my partner if I
Right.
have to lead. Like it's one thing to have the ability to lead, right? Because I
Mm-hmm.
have really great leadership skills, but I can't have someone who literally cannot like sustain themselves. Like they have to rely on me
They
for
have to
our
depend. Okay.
survival. I
Right.
can't
Right.
do that. Yeah, because it's really hard for me to maintain risk as a man.
Because then you're like
So I
mommy,
think
right?
I exact and I cannot. But at the same time, I've also never been with someone who I could rely on to like run our finances. Like I've always been really good with numbers. I always know like come out how much is in savings, a schedule for how much to put away, like things like that. Like I have a long-term savings account, a short-term savings account, a checking account, 2 credit cards, and I can manage it all just fine. And so I've never had someone who I can rely on to responsibly do that.
Yeah.
So in my head, I would love to find that. I'd be like, yeah, you could lead us, but it's not happened.
You mentioned, see, I'm going off. I have a list of questions, but as you speak, I'm going off exactly what you say. You just mentioned
Mhm.
finances, right? And you said you're good
Yes.
at that. Now, in your opinion, how you think the finances should be split between couples? So,
Ooh. If somebody wants to come pay all my bills,
why not, right?
that would be
So you,
amazing. Okay, so I think that it depends on your situation, right? So
right,
let's say if I'm making as much as I make now and I marry someone who's making 3 times what I make, right? I
right,
don't split things 50-50.
Right.
Um,
Okay.
at the same time, I don't think there is a right or wrong. If you have a couple who they say they enjoy splitting things 50-50 and it works for the dynamic of their relationship, I'm not going to
Right.
come in and be like, oh no, he should pay this or she should pay that. But for a minute in a relationship where we split things 50-50, but we were making the same exact amount of money.
Right.
But now it's like I have goals for myself finishing school to make like to have a certain income where I can provide for me and my daughter.
True.
However, if I meet someone who makes the same as what my goal income is, then we can split it however it works. If I meet someone who makes twice my income, I would hope that he would at least pay
He
the
would.
mortgage
True.
and I
Right.
could take care of like the smaller household bills.
Makes sense. Makes
Because
sense.
I like grocery shopping. So I'm
Okay.
fine going to the grocery store, doing all that, organize all of the bills. If he wants to pay them, that's great. But
Right. Right.
I think if you make more than me, like at least take care of the mortgage or the rent or something,
True.
the car note, and I can
True.
do the little stuff.
You know why? Because it's a question I always see people out that they always get. I don't know. Just it's just weird how they answer it. But your answer I agree with because it really depends on the situation, and everyone's
Right.
situation is different. So what might works for someone else relationship might not work for you because everyone
Exactly.
it's different everywhere. So I definitely like that answer. That I agree with 100%.
Thank
Um.
you.
All right. So how do you define success?
I define success as happiness.
Happiness. Okay.
Whatever makes you happy. If you make I know I always go back to finances, but
No, that's
it's
fine.
such an easy way to measure things. But let's say you have someone who makes $50,000. They have a 2-bedroom apartment in a small town. The
Mm-hmm.
cost of living is low. They take their one vacation every year and they're happy.
Right.
Then they're successful.
True.
But that wouldn't make me happy. So I wouldn't consider myself successful.
Right. Right.
I like to take vacations like 3 times a year. Travel to see family and like take Zoe to see new places and try new foods and do new things. And that costs a lot more than $50,000.
Yes,
So
it does. 3 times a
when
year for
I
sure.
hit exactly, and like my goal right now is to double my current salary. And so that for me, that would be like I would be successful in doing that. I want to build a new house in 3 years.
Okay.
There's certain things that I want to be able to just do comfortably. And so that's success for me because I know that those things, and I think as for a lot of parents, it's like success is seeing their children happy. It really does bring me joy and happiness to see my daughter happy. And I have things that, I want to do for myself as well.
True.
But happiness to me is the true measure of success.
Happiness. Okay. And have you reached that? You're there? All right.
No, I'm not gonna say
No.
I'm unhappy because
Okay.
certain things that I am happy about, but I know that I'm not where I want to be. I have goals for the year.
Okay. All right. So I'm you're leading. I'm following. You have goals for the year. So
Hmm.
one of the biggest things you think you want to accomplish in like the next 5 years. I know you just mentioned you're trying to build a house.
Hmm.
So
So
is yeah.
one, because this is my goal for this year, double my
Right.
salary. Like I'm
Okay.
trying to finish school and get a job that pays double what I'm making now by the
Okay.
summertime. Um, and then of course build a house in 3 years. I already have like an idea of what I want, which is like 4 bedrooms, at least 3 bathrooms, open floor plan, a large backyard. Like I have, things there.
Right. Right. Right.
um, and get really good at pole dancing because it's very hard and I really want to I want it to be a new skill and that's why I really want to stick to going at least once a week for the entire year. And that's on my short list right
That's a
now.
short list.
Yeah.
And all right. So what are some of you have any regrets? Like the
Ooh,
biggest
any
regrets? Yeah, in life.
Ooh. Okay, yes, two. When I
Two?
was in the military, I didn't have a savings account, right?
Oh,
And I legit spent 4 years just like I had a great time. I
Mm-hmm.
went on vacation. I took road trips. All that stuff is great. But I also know that I legit just put away like $100 a month
Right.
that
Okay. Got you.
I
You
would have
didn't
come
do
out
none
on
of that.
top, or if it, at least if I would have like put money towards my retirement plan or things, like it would have grown
Right.
significantly because I joined the military almost 14 years ago.
Right.
So that's
You were
one.
young.
My second thing is when I went to school, yeah, I got my bachelor's in humanities, and from that point, I should have gone straight into IT, which is what I'm doing now.
Oh.
And so, yeah, and it's kind of like there was really, I picked humanities because at the time I was trying to get to the nursing program.
Mm-hmm.
The application deadline had already passed. I needed to do something in the meantime. And then because I have that things, I was like, you
Yeah.
know what? I'm just gonna finish this first. And it was like, but I should have just declared IT at the time. And I didn't know that I was gonna end up going into IT anyway.
Yeah.
Those are really my only two regrets. Any other mistakes that I've made in life, I say, you know what? It contributed to who I am today, and I like who I am. So I don't regret it.
There you go. I like that. I like that. It makes you who you are. Let me go back to relationships, right? Now, what do you think you struggle with the most in a relationship? Do you think you struggle with anything at all?
Oh no, yeah. What
What
I
is that?
struggle with the
Yeah.
most. Can I get like I don't know some such a cat other categories? I don't
um
know because there are things that I struggle with in relationships. I think one of them is being able to completely be myself. I think,
Really? You're not
yeah.
like when you're not yourself. You don't think you're yourself when you're in a
No,
relationship?
it's like I think
It's
I'm
like
myself for the most part. It's just there's certain things that depending on who I'm with, I do hold
you
back
hold back.
certain things.
Okay. All right. I
Yeah.
understand.
Like I'm the most myself when I'm with my siblings.
Right. Family
Like
and close friends
I'm
probably.
yeah. Exactly. Like I'm
Yeah.
very like I'm silly all the time. Oh, my
24/7.
daughter just woke up.
Oh, all right, all right, so it's resuming. So we were just speaking on the what you struggle the most in a relationship, right?
Oh yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I always feel the most comfortable around my family. And I would say even more so than like my close friends because I was homeschooled until I was 12. So I
Oh,
grew
okay.
up like my sisters raised me until that point. And so I think because they'll always know me the best, um, it's weird. And there's a lot of ways that me and my sisters are similar, then it makes me the most comfortable being around them. But I also think when I was younger and like in high school and getting into relationships, then I dated people who had issues with how I was. So it was like, oh, you're too intimidating, or you speak a certain way. I was always teased about how I spoke. Or like I literally dated one guy who told me like, oh, the words that you use are too big. And so
Really?
there are certain things that it's like, yeah, when you hear it so many times, you get older, make you self-conscious about those things when it comes to relationships.
Right.
Um, and so I think that's something like I really had to work on being comfortable, being exactly who I was, regardless of like, because ultimately, I think, and I think everyone goes through this, but I'll say especially young women, we want to be liked, you know? And at a certain point, we get to the point, or some of us get to the point where we want to please the other person. And
Right.
so we might sacrifice who we are to
Right.
confine to what we think a man wants.
Right.
And it wasn't until I think when I became a mom, it's when I really did and like was really proud of everything that I am. And so I know that going forward, it's not things that I'll sacrifice. Like I won't hold back who I am and I won't sacrifice things about myself to please another person. But it was things that I struggled with when I was younger and dating.
Right. Now, you just mentioned you're basically not going to sacrifice who you are. You're going to be yourself.
Hmm.
What are you proudest of about you?
Um, I think I'm most proud of I think I'm very strong willed. I
Mhm.
have very strong beliefs passionate about them. And I think it's more so just not being ashamed to voice what they are.
Oh, okay.
And that it comes to everything when it comes to children and how they're raised, when it comes to spirituality, when it comes to work ethic. Like I have strong beliefs about so many things, and I could literally have a conversation about anything. But it's like
Mm-hmm.
going forward, I know to stand firm in those things because I've tried, like, doing the compromise on certain things, and it really didn't work out. And I realized that I more so just have to focus on finding someone with the things that I feel strongly about.
Right,
What are
because
you doing, Mama?
if you, yeah, you, I don't think like lowering yourself for someone else. I don't see how will you grow? You know,
Exactly.
like there's no
And it's like, and
growth.
ultimately, you may grow to resent the other person, and it
Right,
may not really be their fault. You didn't know that these were things that you were sacrificing for them. But,
right.
and so now it's like, I very much believe in the right person they will fit.
True, true. Do you forgive easily when someone apologizes or for hurting or offending you? You're like, nah, hell no,
Um,
definitely not.
it depends because, okay, how, like, do you follow like zodiac signs and like the
Sometimes,
traits?
yeah,
Like, okay, because we have the same birthday, so we're both
yeah. You're a
Scorpio,
Scorpio and I'm a
and
Scorpio.
there's certain things that
Yeah.
holding a grudge, like, I could hold a grudge for a very long time. I could do the silent treatment forever.
Forever, yeah.
Um, but at the same time, I think with age, I think mostly with age and maturity, I've kind of come to forgive easier than I, but not. It's still something I'm working on. I'll say that.
It's still you're working on it.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, this is common. 3 wishes. What would you wish for and why? What are you wishing
Oh,
for if you
okay. So
had
my
three
number one
wishes?
wish is always end the child abuse. I think that
Okay.
most of the issues we face in the world stems from the fact that a lot of children are abused. And of
Mm-hmm.
course, the ones who survive childhood, some of them grow up to be impactful people, and the trauma of their childhood probably impacts how they rule or how they impact the world. Um, and that's not to say, a lot of people say, oh, hurt people hurt people.
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily believe that. I think hurt people hurt people. I think people who weren't hurt people. I
People,
think hurt
right.
people heal people. And so there's this one scenario that's always stuck with me. It said two boys grew up with an alcoholic father. One of them became an alcoholic because his father was an alcoholic, and one of them never drank because his father was an alcoholic. However, I think that when it comes to child abuse, it's so traumatic that it really is the root of so many of the issues we have. Could eradicate it somehow. If I had a magic wish to do it, that would literally be the first thing that I would do.
Okay.
Um, my second wish would be, I'm not a capitalist, I'm more of a socialist. And I really think capitalism is also one of the roots of most of the evils we have. When it comes to modern day slavery, even the transatlantic slavery, child labor, abuse, human trafficking. So much of it is because these billion-dollar conglomerates will literally do anything for money. And humans are one of the most lucrative commodities, basically. And that's how so many people are treated as a commodity. But they'll literally do anything for money, and it's so disgusting. And so I would get rid of capitalism. And
Okay.
my third thing would be probably fair pay, I guess. I think that there's so many. Working 40 hours a week to barely make enough money to pay your bills is absolutely ridiculous, and I think it should be illegal. I would pay everyone twice the money and work half the hours.
Hey, I agree with that. I'm not gonna disagree with any of those 3 wishes at all, for sure. 100% on board
Yeah, I
with that.
thought about this. Like, my perfect society would have no
Yeah.
capitalism, no child abuse, and more pay.
Now, speaking on money, what you prefer? You rich or famous?
Rich.
You prefer to be rich, not famous, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, that's the common sense answer is yeah, rich. Who wants to be famous? You're not gonna have. You could be famous with no money, right? Now,
Exactly. And it's like there's people who are infamous who will literally get on the internet and do or say anything for popularity. And it's like, but what's that really doing for you? What does that do for you? Know?
nothing at all. It doesn't pay.
Exactly.
But you know they say when they say attention is like the new currency.
Exactly. And I'm like, man, if it can't buy me a house, then I don't need it.
What causes you stress in life? Is there anything like what makes you stress?
I'm okay. I could say certain, like very specific, but they're extreme things. So in last year, in the my daughter got really, really sick, and it turned out she had pneumonia, metapneumovirus, and adenovirus.
Oh wow.
And we were in the PICU for 6 days. And she was on high flow oxygen for like 4 or 5 of those days. Like her oxygen levels were really low. She was struggling. Um, and that was very stressful for me. I
Mm,
was also in school at the time. I missed like a week worth of classes. I was trying to catch up. Um, but honestly, anything that comes to like her health is really the only thing that causes me stress. Everything else, it's like I have faith that so it really doesn't like I
right.
don't stress about much of anything else. When it comes to school, when it comes to money, like I really don't stress because I'm like at the end of the day, time is going to keep going and by tomorrow I'll figure it out.
You see, that's the thing. Probably because you're a Scorpio, so you try not to stress about stuff other than what you can't control. Like you mentioned your daughter, which is something that you can't control.
Right.
So I'm kind of with you on that. I don't stress about anything other than stuff I can't control like that. If it has to do with like my son or my kids or anything like that. So yeah, I like that
Yeah,
answer.
it's not worth it.
Yeah, it's stressing. It's unhealthy.
Exactly.
That's how I see it. That's how I look at stress.
And you don't accomplish anything by stressing about it, you know?
Yeah, it just makes everything worse.
Exactly.
Um, what? All right. So what do you want to be when all said and done, right? What do you want to
Mhm.
be known for? What you want to be known for?
Um, I think I'll always want to be more helping others. Like I
Okay.
really want to make an impact in this world. I really believe in like being a blessing. Um, Even now, it's like the reason why I went into IT is because I know that I could get a job that pays well. My
Mm-hmm.
goal is to get a job that pays well enough where the things that I'm passionate about for no pay. So,
Okay.
like, for example, I would really like to, let's say, for example, white hat hacking, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so it's like people who hack into a certain system, but they do it legally or they do it for like a good cause.
Yeah.
Um, if I were to gain that skill, then I would do it to help organizations like Thorn who combat child trafficking, basically. And so it's like, and if I could use that to help in a certain way, I would love to do that and not require an income for it because all my bills are paid with whatever my regular, you know?
Right.
So that's really what, like, I just want to be known for helping people and not not expecting anything in return. For me, the return would be the help, you know, would be the things that I'm able to do or the people I'm able to save, and that's really all I need.
You said you want to be known for helping people. Now,
Hmm.
do you help people before you help yourself? Are you that kind of person, or you
Um,
do for you
it
first
depends on
and
what it
then
is.
okay.
I
Depends.
say I would say I help people wherever I can.
Okay.
Not, and I'm not even going to say I'm not going to sacrifice the things that I need because sometimes I will, depending on who I'm helping. Um, but like, let's say for example, if I had $100 and I needed a new pair of shoes, but so and so needed food, like
Right.
probably use some money to get them food. So it's like things like that where yeah, I would say I'll help people before I help myself. If I'm not in dire need of something, or if it's not something that like can wait for me, then I just prioritize where it's more important is where I'll help.
So okay, so I think you would probably help yourself before you help someone else, unless they're like desperate. That's what it sounds
Yeah,
like.
because it's like the same
Yeah.
thing where how they say you can't pour from an empty cup.
Right. Right. Exactly.
So it's kind of like that, where, if I'm the person who's more in need at the time, like I'll help myself first. But if not, if the things that I need are kind of things that can wait, then I'll help the next person first.
Okay. Right now, you obviously most likely you're probably gonna say your daughter.
Hmm.
Who do you love the most,
Yeah.
other than
She's
your
my
daughter?
favorite person.
Other than
Other
your
than my
daughter?
daughter, oh man, that's a good question.
Yeah, because your
Who
sister's
do
probably
I
gonna
love
see this.
the most? Word, but she knows, like Osamad, my sister who's next above me. She knows that kids are like those are my babies, and like her oldest daughter was born the day after me. She was born. I had just turned 21,
Right?
and legit 6 o'clock in the morning, the day after my birthday, I was in the hospital and was there for 15 hours until that baby came out. I'm so crazy about her, but then she literally just had her fourth kid, and like her kids next to my kid are
Yeah.
my like they're my favorite people. So I would say, if I can pick multiple people and I can't pick my daughter, definitely
Right.
her. Like I love them. They're so special to me.
All right. I know it's hard to pick one, like because you have so many
Mhm.
siblings as well. But do you wish you had more siblings or less?
Oh, less.
Wow.
Oh, because I have siblings who I don't even speak to.
Oh, okay,
So
okay.
it's kind of like, yeah, you
So
kind of get to a
wait, so
certain point and it's
it
like,
seemed like you're saying I wish I didn't have those ones, the ones that you don't
I'm
speak
gonna
to
say
now, huh?
if they weren't my siblings, it wouldn't really be that much of a loss because we
Wow, we
literally
don't
don't
speak.
speak anyway. And that's not to wish them ill will or anything like that, but it's like more sympathy with more siblings.
So more, so you, of course, you have, you probably just have more relative that you can relate to the most. Probably that's what it is.
Yeah.
Like you relate to some more than the other, but it's like that in like every family have that same thing where you don't. Some of y'all don't get along, but some of y'all get along.
Yeah.
Now, who knows you best? Like, which one of your siblings or friends who knows you best?
Oh, so mad.
Oh, she knows you.
So yeah, like okay, so me and her are 3 years apart. Growing up, like we almost always shared a room. Same school, like we went to the same high school.
Yeah.
We spent so much time together. We talk every day. Like my mom will call us, and like let's say she calls me, and I'll like send her the automated text, can I call you later? And then she calls us mad, and she'll send her the same thing, and she'll text her, she'd be like, y'all are on the phone with each other, aren't y'all? And your sisters know that half the time if they call and they get that message, we're probably talking to each other. But yeah, I'm her kid's godparent. Like she's my daughter's godmother. She knows me, like anything that I'm struggling with, things that I don't talk to my mom about, I'll talk to her about. I don't talk to my friends about, I'll talk to her about. Like she's my best friend and she knows me the best.
So I would guess that she would be the one that you go to if you have an issue or a problem. She's like the one
Yeah.
person you would go to just
Like
for
she's
advice
definitely
or.
got calls from me in the middle of the night, in
Oh,
tears,
okay,
worked up, or yeah, like she's that person.
makes sense because y'all close. So,
Yeah,
um, do
man.
do you think exes, right, can stay
Hmm.
friends?
Yeah, I would say exes that I'm friends with,
Oh, you're friends
but
with.
I also
Okay.
have exes that I'm not friends with.
Okay.
So
So it depends then.
yeah,
It depends. I guess it depends on how it
yeah.
ended, right? Depends on how
It
it
depends on
ended.
how it ended. It depends on the relationship. Like The exes that I'm friends with, they're not like people I was so madly in love with or anything like that. I probably
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't be comfortable dating someone who is friends with their ex who they were madly in love with, because it's kind of
Right.
like, it's a gray area on why things didn't work out and things like that. But I think the exes that I am friends with are more so from like my childhood. Like I was a teenager.
Okay.
And now we forward and have families and blah blah blah. And it's like, we are still genuinely friends. If I'm in town, we can hang out. They know my family, they'll come to family functions, like they'll bring their wives or their girlfriends and their kids and things like that. And we have a genuine friendship. But I wouldn't say like, oh, that's possible with every person you date.
Nah, because everyone, every situation be different. So some situation you probably ended like horribly. Some might not be that
Exactly.
bad. Some
Right.
is
Or you
just
never forgave the person, or y'all never fully
right.
moved forward from the relationship. So it can get very complicated trying to maintain that. But yeah, it's possible.
Now, what inspires you?
What inspires me? Um,
Nothing at this point. No, I'm
money.
money.
Like
Okay.
I really, there's a lot of things that I do. I'm in school to make more money, and I show up every day to work to make more money
Right.
to pay bills.
Hey, that works. If it's
Um,
money, that works. I mean,
yeah, but I
that
think
should be everyone inspiration.
I think probably when it comes to creatively, like what inspires me is
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, I guess finding things that I think are beautiful.
Okay.
Like for example, I love hiking, and to be able to like go places and just see amazing views, and it's like you for me I can kind of find happiness in nature, especially in undisturbed nature,
Okay.
and that I think it gives me peace of mind. And when I have peace of mind, I really feel inspired to be progressive, productive.
Okay. Now you said you mentioned money inspire you, right? So do you think
Mhm.
that money can buy happiness?
It could buy me happiness.
So it depends
Like,
on the
there's
person,
people who
huh?
are rich and miserable, and I think it's
Right,
because they're
right.
spending their money on the wrong thing.
The wrong things.
Yeah. Like, for me, okay, so let's say if I won the lottery, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I wouldn't just go like, oh, I'm gonna buy a $5 million house and a private jet in a small
Right,
island and like things like that. Like I would I need for like me and my if I could buy all my siblings houses and buy my mom a house, like I would do all that stuff, and that would really make me happy knowing that a place to live is never anything that they'll have to worry about. It's not just for the sake of having a mansion, but it's really more so the home it can provide.
right,
Um, but I would donate, and that would really bring me happiness. Being able to contribute to like positive efforts,
right.
um, then it's like, yeah, it really would buy me happiness, because there's some people who literally the difference between life and death is money for them. And if
True.
I could
Yeah.
provide that and be a blessing in need, then that would genuinely make me happy.
Do you have a role model? Who is your role model?
I don't think so.
No, you don't? Okay.
Mm-mm. I kind of just, it's like my role model is an idea in my head.
Is you.
It's like I have the type of person who I want to be, and that's my role model.
That's kind of like how I see things. Like you
Yeah.
ask, yeah, I don't have a role model. Like I look up to. Well, I don't want to sound, I look up to me
Yeah.
pretty much. Like, all right, how
And it's
long?
like it is one thing to take, historical figures and say there's so many things that I admire about people who fought for freedom and fought for equal rights and the
Right,
suffragettes, and people who fight for children's rights and fight for, the voice. But I can't specifically say like, oh, this one person is my role model. It's like there's
right,
a bunch of people who inspire me, but
exactly,
my role model is more so the person who I decided that I want to be.
exact. There you go. Now, when how do you cheer yourself up? What do you do? Is
Oh,
there do you do something, or do you just like
yeah. So the beach, I love the beach.
okay, all right,
I've never had a bad day at the beach, and working out really helps me, like, I guess combating my frustrations. Like run helps me to clear my head,
okay,
and finishing, like if I say I'm gonna run a 5K or longer, finishing a long run really gives me a sense of accomplishment. And I think having a sense of accomplishment is really what cheers me up. Sometimes it might be finishing a homework assignment, and it's like, wow, I feel good, you know?
so you're saying a homework assignment cheers you up? Really?
Legit, because
What?
there's certain things that really just give me the sense of accomplishment, and when I get it I feel so
Hmm.
much better than if I say like, oh, I feel sad, I'm gonna go eat a tub of ice cream, you know? But if I'm
Right.
like, I'm gonna go outside and run 4 miles, do it and I finish it, like it's just that does legit cheer me up.
Now, if you could live anywhere, where would you live? You
I
were
don't
talking about
know.
that $1 million if you won the lottery.
Yeah.
So where would you spend that money?
Thing, I've only ever lived in America, but if
Okay.
I could live anywhere I would likely leave because of, it's mostly it's because of our environment and the American nutrition system, like the food, the way things are processed, the chemicals that they put in things, ingredients that are banned in other countries that are allowed here. However, I haven't done the research yet to be like, oh, if I left America I would move to this country, you
Right.
know? So I know that it would be out of the country, but I don't actually know like where for me yet.
So you want to leave, but you just don't know where to go because you don't know. Like, I guess you'd travel then, right? You'd probably visit to see,
Yeah, I
and
have to
then
make my
decide from there.
rounds. Yeah,
Makes sense because you don't want to. You could leave here to expect something better, and you get there, and it's like, yeah, the food is better, but then there's like no jobs. There's like, it's different.
exactly. Or it might be they've got their own racial issues
Exactly. Yeah.
or societal issues or civil rights issues. It's like, I don't know. And that's why I can't say, like, oh, if I lived somewhere else, I would just go to this place because I don't know yet here.
True. True. Um, do you have an embarrassing moment? What's your most embarrassing moment? Do you have any?
Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. So,
And you don't have to share if you
I
could
didn't
just
know
say
they're very
next.
small. No,
Are
because
they
it's not
small?
even all of my embarrassing moments are pretty time. It was a snow day, but not like schools were closed. Schools were still open.
Or you
And
fell?
I literally walked into school, and right at the entrance, like everybody was there, and it was right in between the cafeteria and the library. And I slipped and fell. And there's no way you can hide that, you know?
Right.
It's pretty
Everyone
embarrassing.
saw. Oh no, you
Other than
fell.
that, yeah. And of course, at the time, like I was, 16, 17 years old, and all your friends are around and cute boys and blah, blah, blah. Like, it was a
Right.
big deal at the time. Now it's like, I don't care. Now it's really hard for me to be embarrassed. And sometimes my friends embarrass me or they'll record me doing something like really silly or doing a silly voice or whatever. And I'm like, man, you can't embarrass me. Not at this point in my life. I can't be embarrassed.
Now you just fall on purpose, huh?
I guess so. I would probably be the main one laughing.
Do you have a favorite childhood memory?
Um, I'm sure
Oh
I
no.
do. No, I've got to, but I can't remember. A favorite child. Okay, yes, I do. So, and it's not even anything significant. I'd say it's
Yeah.
probably at least top 10. But there was a time when I was 7 that me and my mom and some of my siblings lived down here. Actually, lived here in Davie, which is where I live now.
Right. Davie,
Um,
Florida.
and you know how it rains really, really heavy. And
Mm-hmm.
where we were staying, it was like huge estate, I guess, and there was a playground on the property, and it had rained so heavy that me, Osamad, and my two younger brothers we went out and we had to like map out this path to the playground because it was all grass to where we weren't stepping in any huge puddles. We all
Okay.
got in a line, those man was at the front, and we literally just like took step by step exactly one after another till we got to the playground. And it's such an like an insignificant memory, but we had so much fun that summer and it was just us. And that I think it's something that we'll just always remember that day.
Wait, you said how old were you at that time?
I was 7.
At 7. Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Um, where do you feel comfortable the most?
Um, comfortable. You mean like physically
Yeah,
or
like I guess yeah, physically
I would say probably in the kitchen
in the kitchen.
because I
Wait, you
really
like
like
to
to
cook?
cook. Yeah, like I really enjoy cooking. It's like therapeutic for me. Um, but if not in the kitchen, then I love the beach is like a second home for me.
Okay, you love the
If
beach.
I
Okay.
get there and I could lay out on a sunny day and it does not matter who else is around, it's like my own world.
Okay, so the beach, the kitchen, so you like to cook, you like to go to the beach. See, when I
Hmm.
see that can when I was I think I asked you earlier about the stress. That was that the beach and cooking. That kind of like sound
Yeah,
like it
that's
helps
true.
if you're stressing, but it is what it is.
But it's like because the major time that I was stressed out, then
Yeah.
I was in the hospital, so I couldn't go to the beach and I couldn't cook.
Oh man. All right. So what are we at? We're at about 15 minutes. What, 51?
Mhm.
51? All right. So, I mean, I pretty much you answered everything. That's crazy. You answered
I do what I
everything.
can.
Yeah, and I think I pretty much asked you about like probably like over 30 questions or more. I wasn't counting, but I definitely
Hmm.
asked you so much that and you did answer all of them, which is good. It's great. So I think we could pretty much just wrap it up there. But I do want to thank you so much. I definitely have to thank you. You know why? Because I text you pretty much
Hmm.
like yesterday, and you were like willing to do it like yesterday when I text you, and
Right.
I asked most of my other friends. They said yeah. Everyone I asked, they said yeah. Of course, yeah. Of course, I'll do an interview. And you
Right.
see when it's time, it's like yeah. I gotta. Obviously, I know I have the weirdest schedule in the world, but
Right.
when it's time to do it, I'm gonna have to. They have other things to do. It's like trying to meet, trying to make it work. It's just hard. So for
Right.
you to like show up like at the same time I text you without even, because I was trying to probably text you now to do it like next week, So I
Oh,
was kind
okay.
of yeah, I was texting you
Yeah,
like,
and when you
hey,
said you're going to be on the road for the week, and I was like, dang,
yeah,
I wanted to try and get it out the way.
yeah, because I'm a truck driver, so when I leave today, and I'm leaving at 10, which is in like what couple of hours. So I leave at 10,
Hmm.
so I go over the road, so I don't come back home till 6 or 7 days. So today's Sunday, right? What's today? Monday.
Yeah.
So Monday, that means I'll be back probably Sunday. Yeah, it's about 6 day, right?
Okay.
I'll be back Monday. So yeah, so obviously, just like you have a daughter. Most of my other friends, they have kids as well, right? So
Right.
I understand that it's going to be hard to make things work because you have to put your daughter to sleep and all of that. But for you to like
Hmm.
be here, I definitely appreciate that because I asked you at the last minute and you showed up. And I even matter of fact, I text your sister last year, and
Uh-huh.
obviously she just had her baby, right? So
No.
congrats to her. So in the while I was texting her, right? In the middle of
Hmm.
me texting her, I was like, "Oh crap, she's about to be in the hospital in like next month, right? So then
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I can't ask her about no interview now. But I was texting her last year because I was gonna ask her like, hey, I want to interview
Right.
you, not remembering she's like about to have a baby, and I didn't even mention
Right.
it. I just let it go. But once she recovers, I'm definitely gonna have her as well because I know she'll probably say, yeah, of course I'll do it.
Yeah.
So,
Honestly, if you
yeah,
would have, she would have done it.
she would have.
Like when I tell you that girl, she goes nonstop.
Yeah,
And my mom is always like, you need to sit down, you need to relax, you need to take a break. But if you would have been like, hey, can you do this interview for my platform? She would have said, okay.
yeah. I know she would have said yes. I know she would,
Yeah.
because for her, I could see her doing it. Just like I could see you doing it as well. That's why I said, let me text you and see
Mhm.
what you're gonna say. I mean, I'm sure she. I just didn't want to ask because because of the what she's going through right now with the baby and
Right.
everything. I was kind of wait. I'm gonna wait till she gets through
Yeah,
and
down a bit.
yeah. But I'm definitely gonna have her come on. I'm gonna text her and tell her like, hey, whenever you're ready, whenever you have time. Plus she has like she's on number 4.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So it's gonna be like rough with, all the kids running around and stuff. So
Yeah.
but I'm definitely gonna have her on. But like I said, I definitely appreciate you doing this. But is there anything else you want to share before we close out? Anything about
If anyone
you?
who sees some ideas for places that are hiring for IT positions,
Okay.
let me know.
So yeah, if it's anything you want to say or promote or because I'm gonna pretty much
um,
anything about
Oh, I guess
yourself you
one
want to
thing,
share.
if anyone wants to, so I did start posting on TikTok
Okay.
to just document, I say my journey through my last semester of college into like my first real IT job. If anyone would like to follow along, that would be amazing. I'm trying to like post, regularly twice a week or something, and just give if it's for people who are interested in getting into IT, or it's for other IT or computer science majors. Then yeah, I would really love to build a community, especially for Black people, for Black women, because it is a really tough field to get into and we don't have education. So I would really like to build a community there if anyone wants to follow me on TikTok.
And you have to say the name on TikTok. What's your
I
TikTok?
think that it is Miss_Alosha, MISS_Alosha. I hope that's correct because I try to make names the same thing. If not, I don't know what it is, but
Miss
I could
underscore
try and
Alosha.
check. Yes.
Let me see. Is that how it look?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, so follow her on Twitter, not Twitter, on TikTok, and that would be she think. Hopefully that's right,
I'm
Miss
pretty sure
Alosha.
that's right.
Okay, hopefully that's right. If not, I'll get the right one and I'll put it in the link. That way you can follow her on TikTok. Right. So
Sounds
basically,
good.
and I definitely thank you again, and
Of
pretty
course.
much I'll text you and and probably say thank you again. But until
Okay.
then, Um, we're pretty much signing off, so you could go finish your work, and I could go get ready for work. So
Okay. Drive safe.
later. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for watching, and please remember to hit the notification bell. Like, share, comment and subscribe.